Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending the HerHeartMatters, the importance of heart and vascular disease prevention and recovery session. My name is Dr. Thais Coutinho, and I am the chair of the Executive Steering Committee for the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance. While we're meeting here today on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improve our own understanding of the local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all of the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Heart and vascular disease is the leading cause of hospitalization and premature death for women in Canada. Globally, cardiovascular disease affects 1 out of 3 women, and women everywhere are understudied, underdiagnosed, undertreated, and underaware when it comes to their heart and vascular health. Even their healthcare providers are also often underaware about the women's risk factors and the common signs and symptoms of heart disease in women. Wear Red Canada is celebrated annually across Canada on February 13 to raise awareness about women's heart and vascular health. It is proudly hosted by the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance, which is powered by the Canadian Women's Heart Health Centre. Events are held online and across the country to serve as a reminder for all people, especially women, to be mindful, curious, and proactive in the management of our heart health and wellness. And now, I would like to introduce my colleague, Dr. Judy Liu, who is going to speak about this year's theme and our key messages. Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Coutinho. This year's Wear Red Canada theme is, to take care of others, you need to first take care of yourself. Start the conversation with the woman in your life. #HerHeartMatters. I'd like to now share with you our 5 key messages for this year's Wear Red Canada campaign. Number 1, heart disease is on the rise and is the leading cause of death for women worldwide. Number 2, heart attack symptoms are not recognized in over 50% of women. Number 3, the causes of heart disease can be different for women when compared to men. And number 4, women can be at greater risk for heart disease than men. And lastly, our final key message is, there's a lot that we can all do to help reduce the risk. Heart disease is largely preventable. These 5 key messages and other resources are available on our website in a variety of languages and will be highlighted in more detail throughout today's webinar. Here is my counterpart, Ms. Helen Robert, a woman with lived experience and an amazing advocate for women's heart health. Helen?
Thank you, Dr. Liu. This campaign couldn't happen without a team of more than 100 incredible volunteers working tirelessly to support our success. Our national team includes clinicians, scientists, and patient caregiver advocates on 4 regional planning committees across Canada. These volunteers have put in countless hours planning to bring this fantastic national event to us today. On behalf of the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance, we thank each of you for your collaboration, time, energy, and enthusiasm. To give you all an idea of just how much is going on today, we have proclamations recognizing February 13th as Wear Red Canada Day from cities and municipalities across the country. We have iconic landmarks from coast to coast lighting up red, from the Harbour Centre in Vancouver to the Halifax Seaport. Even Niagara Falls will be lit up in red. We have participants from coast to coast signed up for a virtual 5K event or 30 minutes of movement. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors for this event: Heart and Stroke Nova Scotia, Servier, the University of Ottawa Heart Institute Foundation, and Norris Ford Sales Limited. As part of the 2022 Wear Red Canada campaign, we've introduced the Heart of the Matter, a 60-minute lesson plan and educator toolkit developed specifically to reach younger audiences about the important issue of women's heart and vascular health. This program will spark conversation among students, staff, parents, guardians, and the broader community about women's heart health and raise the visibility of Wear Red Canada in our schools. Please visit our website for more information on this terrific opportunity. We do have a few housekeeping notes before we get started today. All participants have been muted, and video sharing capabilities have been turned off to minimize disruptions during the presentation. For sound, please ensure your speakers are turned on and up. If you're having sound issues, please test your audio by going to your audio settings. If you're having any technical issues at all, please let us know by using the chat function. Simply click the chat icon at the bottom of your Zoom window. If you have any questions for our speakers, please submit them at any time during the webinar using the Q&A button, also at the bottom of your Zoom window. There will not be a live Q&A at the end, so we will be answering questions throughout the webinar using the Q&A button. This webinar is being recorded. The recording will be available next week, along with all other webinar sessions brought to you today by our friends and colleagues across Canada on the wearredcanada.ca website. And finally, a big thank you to all of you who are taking part in this 90-minute jam-packed coast-to-coast event. Now, let's get started by introducing our friends from the Rockies. In British Columbia, a big welcome to Rachel, Emily, and Miraz.
From Vancouver, British Columbia on the West Coast, we welcome you to our first session. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we and our guests are recording from the unceded and traditional lands of the Coast Salish, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. We have two core themes today. First, engaging youth and knowing your numbers, and second, the importance of prevention by starting young and getting regular checkups. My name is Rachel, a graduate student in the UBC Medical Genetics Department studying diabetes. I am one of 3 West Coast youth moderators for today's session.
Hi everyone, my name is Miraz and I'm a second-year medical student at UBC with an interest in women's cardiovascular health. Today's topic relates to the national theme, to take care of others, you need to first take care of yourself. Start the conversation with the woman in your life.
And I'm Emily, a graduate student in the UBC Medical Genetics Department, studying sex differences in the relationship between mental health and heart health. For the next 20 minutes, you'll hear from Madison Maylie, a Canadian gold medalist from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, Kiara Herrera, a high school student living with a heart condition, a youth gymnastics team, surgical physician Dr. Naja Ahmed, and our patient partner, Ms. Denise Johnson. With no further ado, here's Madison.
Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Maylie, and I am an athlete on the Canadian national rowing team. I got the opportunity to race at the Tokyo Olympic Games this summer, and I actually came home with a gold medal. Obviously, I'm here today because of going to the Olympics and winning, and how that happened was in 2019, I qualified the women's four for the Olympic Games. And then in 2020, the Olympics got canceled. And that was quite a sad day for me, because I remember getting that text message and them saying, you know, the Olympics is canceled and we don't know what's happening with the world. And please go home to wherever you're from and bring a bike and a treadmill and work out from home. It was a shocking, tough time. Our workouts changed to Zoom workouts and our team forged ahead. Then we got to come back together. That was wonderful for me. I missed my teammates so much. And we finally selected our boats after 6 months of a second round of selection, which was pretty exhausting. About 40 days to the Olympic Games, we were up at Strathcona Lodge, which is a beautiful area in BC, and we were on a team recovery ride. We had just posted our fastest time, and we had a bike accident. Ended up with 3 of my teammates sprawled on the road, and I was reminded that our health is the most important thing. And my body and my mind are the reason that I am able to race and work out and be on a national team. We obviously overcame this injury with a spare, and Kasha, who fell off her bike, joined us in Tokyo, and we seat raced for the last seat 1 week before the games. It's pretty crazy when you watch our race in July. We you just see that 6 minutes and you don't see the years and years of preparation and hard work that go into it. But I know everyone that's listening to me right now has had a crazy last 2 years and has had to overcome a lot. And that's going to teach you something, and you are going to be stronger because of that. Sport has given me so much in my life. It has gotten me outside. It has gotten me to have such strong relationships with my teammates. It has allowed me to travel extensively around the world. And it has allowed me to 100% invest in my body, this machine that allows me to do what I want. And I got to where I am today from setting these small goals along the way and dealing with failure. There's a lot of failure that goes into success, and it teaches you so much. We only get one body and one heart, and that is why I'm here today and wearing red. There are so many things that you can do to prevent heart disease and heart issues and health issues in general. And two of them are things I am experts in, and that is eating healthy and staying active. I might have stayed a bit too active, but different for everyone. But I did have a family member that had 2 heart ablation surgeries and has had other heart issues. And it teaches you to never take things for granted, and that we are so lucky to be here and to have a community that supports us and is helping us get through hard times. So thank you so much for having me today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your 2022 and you set small goals for yourself that will allow you to be healthier, happier person. And my last question is, what can being fit and being healthy do for you? And my answer is that it can fully change your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison, for speaking to us about your journey in fitness and exercise. Now let's hear from Kiara about her experiences with a heart condition as a youth and how other youth can get more involved.
So hello, my name is Kiara Herrera. I am a grade 12 student from POCO. As you might look at me, I might not look like I have anything going on with me, but that is not the case at all. During the summer in grade 6, I found out that I have CPVT. So CPVT is also known as catecholaminergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia, is a heart condition characterized by an abnormal heart rhythm. Basically, as the heart rate increases in a response to physical activity or emotional stress, it can trigger an abnormally fast heartbeat called ventricular tachycardia. Episodes of ventricular tachycardia can cause lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting. And in people with CPVT, these episodes typically begin in childhood. So I am lucky enough that I was one of the few people that had kind of 3 warning signs to be able to catch this and get the medication and stuff that I need. But the sad thing for some people is that if CPV is not recognized and treated, an episode of ventricular tachycardia may cause the heart to stop beating. So I could have also gone into cardiac arrest. So as someone who didn't have anybody else in the family who had any heart conditions or diseases, it was really scary to find out. But having my family kind of be there to support me, and even friends support me, I was able to meet a group of kids who are also kind of like me and who all have different heart conditions. So what can we do to help prevent this from happening to our loved ones? Well, first, start the conversation with the women or men in your life, or anyone for that matter. Second, it's important to be self-aware about your health. Although our risk may be lower at this stage of our life, your prevention plan can start now. As we saw with my story, I was only 11 years old. Lastly, advocate for women's heart and vascular health. Take part in Wear Red Canada to inform others of the risk and signs of heart disease. As we all know, knowledge is power and prevention is key. You can do your part by starting the conversation today.
Thank you, Kiara. It's so important for the next generation to be aware of heart health through hearing stories like yours. Now let's turn to the balanced competitive gymnastics team from West Vancouver to demonstrate the importance of making exercise fun at an early age.
Feels good to be here. Every time I breathe, everywhere I go, well, I always know that I'm always free. Feels good to be free. I can roll my feet. Everywhere I go, well, I always know that I'm always free. Well, I wake up each morning and know my truth, and I kind of like know when the sun comes through, and I don't have to pretend to be someone else. I can sing, I can dance, I can laugh and cry, but I only get one chance to live this life. I'm taking each day slow as it falls.
Heart disease is largely preventable.
Great job, girls, for showing how fun it can be to be active. Also, big thank you to the club's owner, Julia, and head coach, Yereni, for supporting this important event. It's no secret that finding a healthcare provider is very challenging. So here to speak about tips to finding a center for primary care is Dr. Naja Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Mahras, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm here with you today to share some tips on how to get a primary care provider. So let's first start by definition. What do we mean by regular healthcare provider? A regular healthcare provider is defined as a health professional that persons see or talk to when they need care or advice about their health. This includes a family doctor, general practitioner, medical specialist, or nurse practitioner. Now I want to ask you to help me answer this question. How many of you have a regular healthcare provider? A, yes, I do have. B, no, I couldn't find one. C, no, I don't need one. Please type your answer in the chat box. Actually, this question has recently sparked a shocking conversation in Twitter when one of the nurse practitioners shared her experience and frustration of not getting a family doctor. She asked how many Canadians don't have a family doctor. Then she received a huge response from different cities in Canada mentioning they don't have any. For me, this wasn't surprising. In fact, since I moved here, it took me 4 years to get a family doctor who I become orphan again without her care when she decided to change her practice to start my journey to get another family physician. According to Static Canada report in 2017, almost 5 million Canadians don't have a family doctor, meaning 1 out of 7 Canadians don't have any regular healthcare provider. In BC, for example, professional data shows among British Columbians, there is nearly 70% of people in the province lacking access to family doctor or other primary care provider. So why this is a problem? What is the matter if someone doesn't have a regular healthcare provider? Let me explain to you how well health system actually working. There are 5 components of good health system. First step is access to care. So can you get the health service you need when you need them? Quality of care. How good is the care that you're receiving and is it safe? Spending. How much do the health service you use cost the system? Health outcome. Are Canadians actually getting healthier? And lastly, health promotion and disease prevention. How well is the system working to help you stay healthy and avoid getting sick? So where is our family doctors? For our population, we have only 132 family physicians per 100,000 Canadian. I think this doesn't need any math. The numbers speak for themselves. Fewer family physicians, more people without access to care. Canadians who don't have a healthcare professional they see or talk when they need on a regular basis, they are less likely to engage in preventive health measures such as immunization or meeting guidelines for screening. Shortage in healthcare provider is a complex issue. Exploring it more here is out of scope of this talk. So now I would like to share with you some tips on how to find a family doctor from my personal experience. There are so many ways. For example, in every province, there's a healthcare line that you can call, and connect you with healthcare service navigator who can provide you with information about finding a family doctor in your own community. Also, you can ask the Division of Family Practice. They offer a service to connect patients to family doctor, and you can check them online and connect with them. Another trick is you can tap on your own network. Ask your family or friends to introduce you to their own family doctor. Some doctors are more likely to get referred from their existing patient. And whenever you go for a walk-in clinic, ask them if they can take you as one of their own patients. And another important solution is the nurse practitioner-led clinic. Across many preferences, there are nurse practitioner-led clinic. There are highly qualified nurses who are able to provide you ongoing healthcare, education, illness prevention to anyone in need of healthcare. And you don't need a refer for them, and they are free of service in some provinces. They can diagnose and treat the common injury and give prescription and all the blood and diagnostic tests. And some of them actually, they're working within a family doctor team with other clinic. And also you can check online for directory for medical care. They can add your name there to connect with healthcare provider or look for available one. Healthcare Connect in Ontario is an example. Virtual telehealth. With COVID now, digital health become one of our new norms. Check online for virtual clinic and get access to care from the comfort from your own home. As a part of the solution to tackle family doctors shortage is the urgent and primary care center. Here in BC, we have many of them. They provide same-day, urgent, non-emergency healthcare visit, and they're open in evening, weekends, and in the holidays. And they can save you a visit to the emergency department when you need help. These are a few tips that I would love to share with you. It's not a costless list, but a solution that give you as a starting point in your journey. And you can share with us in the chat box any tips that you find it helpful, or if you have any other tips. I know from firsthand experience that the journey for searching for healthcare provider could be time and energy consuming, but I still want you to be your own advocate and take care of yourself to take care of others. Having said that, while you're trying searching for your next or first healthcare provider, I need you to keep your eyes on these important numbers. Those numbers are your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and body weight. And you can get them checked regularly by visiting walk-in clinic, pharmacy, or drugstores. There's also free online score calculating that you can track your risk of heart disease and can give you some tips to modify them if you can.
Thank you, Dr. Adriak, for sharing these very helpful resources. Advocating for yourself really is key. Now, here are some helpful tips when speaking with your healthcare provider from our patient partner, Denise Johnson.
I was diagnosed about 10 years ago, and thankfully, with the good care of my healthcare providers and working together as a team, my heart disease symptoms are well managed. So today I'm happy to chat with you as a woman with lived experience about some tips for talking with your healthcare providers. It's important to prepare for your visit, to really think about, okay, what is my number one health concern right now? What is the most important thing I need to talk about? We know all our healthcare providers are super busy, especially during the pandemic, and they really want to help care for us, but they need us to be efficient with our time and be well prepared. So if you have a plan of what it is you really want to talk about and what's of most concern for you for this next appointment, that helps you and helps them. Also helps for them to have an updated list of all your medicines, because you might have other medicines you're taking besides your heart medicine, and it's really helpful to have a current, up-to-date list of your medications. The three main questions approach around getting ready to see your healthcare provider is, what's my main health problem? What's the most important thing I want to talk about today? Why do I need to do this? What's happening for me? What are my symptoms, or what's changed, or what's different? And why is this the important point? And the third is, why is this so important to me to do this? Because are your symptoms getting worse? Are they changing? Is your medication working really well and you're wondering about reducing it? There could be a variety of things that you want to talk about, but to really narrow down what you can do in your appointment that's going to help satisfy your needs and help your doctor give you what you need then these 3 tips of questions might help you get organized. Taking notes is really important because you're engaged in your conversation, and sometimes you don't remember because you're so in the moment with your doctor or your nurse practitioner, whoever you might be talking to. So I've created my own little heart health notebook, which I record when I do my blood pressure at home or there's a symptom. I record the date and a few notes. And I also use the tool we all usually have with us, our phones. And there's a notes page in the phone, and I just enter the notes in there, and then I can refer to it. I can print it off. I can share it with other doctors if I need to. So those are strategies that might be of help to you. So when you're getting ready to go talk to your healthcare provider, depending on whether this is your first visit or maybe you really haven't established a relationship with this person yet, you might want to bring someone with you. It can be a trusted friend or it can be a family member. Asking for definitions. This is your time to understand your own health situation. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if they're using terminology or talking about an assessment or medication and you're not understanding. That's what they're there for, and they're happy to answer your questions. Recap, really important. Maybe you have an appointment that's 15, 20 minutes, maybe a bit longer if you're lucky, but it's important at the end to recap what you decided with your healthcare provider. What are you going to keep doing to care for yourself? What are you going to change? And maybe when are you going to see each other again and how long that needs to be, so that you either set up that appointment before you leave the office, or maybe you can follow up by email to the healthcare provider's assistant to get it scheduled. And that's part of the follow-up too, is really following up and with whatever has been decided between you and the healthcare provider. You really are a team together, working together to give you the best health possible.
Thank you, Denise, for telling us about your story. Thank you to all of our presenters for sharing your experiences and recommendations with us today.
On behalf of the West Coast, thank you for taking part in Wear Red Canada.
Now, let's jump over to our neighbors in the prairies for our next segment.
From Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, we welcome you. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we and our guests are on traditional territories of the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. I'm Bobby Jo Green. I'm a Canadian woman living with non-obstructive disease. I'm currently living in Edmonton, Alberta.
And I'm Pat Caroni. I'm a retired lawyer and business owner, and I'm a heart attack survivor from Regina, Saskatchewan.
I'm Dr. Andrea Lavoie, an interventional cardiologist in Regina, Saskatchewan. Today's topics relate to the national theme, to take care of others, you first need to take care of yourself. Start the conversation with the women in your life. With no further ado, let's start things off with an interview with Brittany Semenchuk and Dr. Shaylin Strachan, who will be speaking about how treating yourself compassionately will help you improve your overall heart health.
Hi, my name is Brittany Semenchuk, and I'm here today with Dr. Shaylin Strachan. So during this webinar, you most likely heard information about the importance of engaging in health behaviors, and most likely heard messages such as, in order to improve your heart health, you need to exercise more, sit less, get enough sleep, and reduce your stress. What you also probably know is that engaging in these health behaviors can be really challenging at times. Research also tells us that it may be even harder for women who tend to prioritize the needs and health of others, such as their family. I am sure we can all think of a time that we've had the best intentions of either being more physically active or maybe even eating healthier, but something derailed our efforts. Maybe it was taking care of elderly parents, maybe the kids' activities took up a lot of time and energy, or maybe work was especially busy. And so even though these health behaviors leads to substantial benefits ranging from mental to physical, we, and especially women, often still prioritize the needs of others instead of our own. So in line with this year's topic, we want to reinforce the idea that in order to take care of others, we need to first take care of ourselves. Specifically, we're going to be discussing how treating yourself compassionately will help improve your health, assist you with engaging in these important health behaviors, and actually help you become more compassionate to others. The term self-compassion refers to a way of relating to yourself in a supportive and caring manner. This resource has been described as having your own back or being an inner ally. Self-compassion has 3 different components. So the first one is treating oneself with kindness and compassion, like you would a close friend or family member who is struggling. Second is being mindful of your thoughts and emotions. And third is recognizing that all aspects of the human experience, including suffering and failure, are shared and universal. In our lab, we have done research to show that people benefit from using a self-compassionate approach. So for instance, we have done research to show that women at risk of cardiovascular disease benefited from being self-compassionate. In one study, we provided women with detailed information indicating that they were at moderate to high risk of cardiovascular disease. Those who were higher in self-compassion responded to this news in a more adaptive way. So they were less anxious, worried less, and were more likely to seek out information regarding cardiovascular disease. We also found that these women who were more self-compassionate engage in more health behaviors, such as physical activity. This research is consistent with a growing body of work that shows that people who are more self-compassionate prioritize their health and are better at managing and engaging in health behaviors. So you might be thinking, well, how does being kind to yourself translate into better health behaviors? And the idea here is that when people relate to themselves with self-compassion, they experience less stress and anxiety, and these emotions can really derail us from our goals. In addition, self-compassionate individuals are more likely to give themselves permission to do what they know is good for themselves. So they really prioritize their own needs, whether this be making time for sleep or even more exercise.
All right, so I'm going to walk you through a self-compassion activity. So I want you to take a moment and reflect on a challenging health situation you've faced. So this could be a difficult health diagnosis, maybe related to your heart health, or a time when you struggled to obtain a health goal, such as increasing your exercise. I want you to picture the scenario in your mind. Really visualize where you were and what you were feeling. All right, and once you have that situation chosen, I want you to think about what you said to yourself in this moment. Or what do you typically say to yourself in these types of moments? What are the specific things, phrases that you would say or think to yourself? What does your tone of voice sound like? Next, I want you to flip the scenario around and pretend that you're speaking to one of your closest friends or your significant other. They come to you with the same problem about their health. What would you say to them? What specific words would you use? And what would your tone of voice be like? Now, I want you to compare the two scenarios. Do you notice a difference in the words that you used in each, and your tone of voice? Most people find that often their words to their closest friends are supporting, gentle, and kind. They are compassionate to others. Meanwhile, the voice that they use with themselves is much harsher, critical, and unsupportive or uncompassionate. Would you ever use this type of tone or words with your closest friend? Probably not.
So if you are one of those individuals that realize that you're not as compassionate to yourself as you are to others, you are not alone. And the good news is that even though you might not be the most compassionate to yourself right now, you are able to learn this skill with practice. In fact, another one of our studies found that women at risk of cardiovascular disease who were taught how to treat themselves with self-compassion were able to significantly increase their ability to be self-compassionate after only 3 weeks. But I want you to remember that self-compassion is a skill that needs to be learned. You will not automatically become a self-compassionate person. Maybe in the beginning, a good goal would be to focus on replacing your self-critical talk with more positive phrases. So there are many ways to practice being more self-compassionate, such as the exercise we did before. If you are interested in learning more and trying different exercises, we would recommend you visit the website listed on this slide. Here you will find the latest research and wonderful resources to practice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brittany and Dr. Strachan, for this very impactful and timely presentation. Now let's take a moment to practice self-compassion by taking part in a quick 10-minute yoga session with Melanie from Yoga Within in Edmonton, Alberta. Let's hope you are in your comfy clothes, get out your yoga mat and water bottle to enjoy a few minutes to calm your mind and body.
Hi, I'm Melanie from Yoga Within. Thanks for joining me for this short class in support of Wear Red Canada Day on February 13th, just acknowledging the importance of women's heart health. Let's start in a comfortable seated position, cross-legged if you like, or you can stretch your legs out. And just take a moment to rest your hands on your knees or in your lap. Your eyes can be open or closed. Take a long breath in and a long letting go exhalation. Take a moment just to notice the ground supporting you. And remember to allow yourself to be supported. Follow the gentle rhythm of your breath. Let your mind begin to slow down, remembering the importance of self-care and looking after yourself first before you extend your help out to the world. The eyes are open, just let them begin to open. Let's just bring some gentle movement into the body, just starting to rock from side to side. Just noticing, how do I feel right now? So often we're worried about everybody else in our lives and we just don't take the time to notice ourselves first. Notice your connection to the ground supporting you as you rock a bit. And then just start to rock forward and back. Connecting to your breath. Your breath is your bridge that connects your body and your mind. And often we go through our lives a little disconnected. Really start to notice, how are you? And now start to bring some little circles into the body. It's always safest to start slow. And perhaps move a little faster if it feels like that's what you need. Switch directions if you haven't already. And then pause at the center. You can just lean forward or walk forward. Again, just taking a few breaths to just notice, has your mind drifted away? Or can you bring it back into this moment, right now, where you are? Bring yourself back up to an upright position. And let's bend to one side. You can keep a hand on the hip, a hand on the shoulder, or bring the arm up overhead. Again, connecting with your breath, giving your mind a place of focus. Bringing yourself back up and taking that pause. And just once more over to the other side. A little bit of movement can prepare us for stillness. And then bringing yourself back up to center. And as I switch to a sideways position, moving into a few spinal movements, rounding back as you draw your belly to the spine, and coming forward as you open your chest, lightly squeezing your shoulder blades. Think of rounding back as an exhalation, and coming forward, expanding the belly, squeezing the shoulder blades lightly as an inhalation. And just moving with your breath, inhaling, exhaling, getting some movement into the spine. Trying to remember the importance of moving your body each and every day. Just these few moments of self-care can start to make the world of difference. Just pausing here in this rounded position, taking a few breaths in and a few breaths out. Coming back up to a seated position and stretch your legs out. Just bounce into the knees a bit. And now find your way down onto the ground. You may just want to adjust your head, tip your chin under a little bit. Try to maintain that natural curve in your neck. Lift your hips up, tuck the tail, and relax the belly towards the spine. You can have the knees bent, especially if your back bothers you, or you can stretch the legs out. Your hands can rest on your low belly or at your sides, wherever you can begin to find ease in the body. Your eyes open or closed. Come back to that place of mindful breath. As I inhale peace. As I exhale, I try my best to release. I allow my body to soften. And I try to allow the warmth of relaxation to move within me. Relaxing my toes and my legs. Relaxing the hips, the belly. Relax your chest. Take a moment and just notice the rhythm of your heart beating. Feeling gratitude for the sound of your heartbeat. Allowing the warmth of relaxation to move through the arms, to the hands. Relaxing each fingertip. Knowing that there's no need to force it. Gently guiding your awareness back. Knowing that if you'd like to remain here for longer, you can. Or just slowly begin to allow movement back into the fingers and the toes. Let the knees bend, placing the foot soles on the floor. And just let the knees rock a bit from side to side. Take a long breath in and just tighten the body. A long, soft, letting go exhalation as you release. Gently rolling over onto one side. And just pause for a moment, remembering to take that kindness that you've shown yourself out into your daily life with you. Bring yourself back up to a seated position. Just bringing the hands together at heart center and resting the thumbs on the sternum. Remember, when you're on the airplane, they always tell you to put the mask on yourself first. This is the same thing. Take care of yourself, and then you can extend that kindness out to the others in your life. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. That was great. It's so important for all of us to take time for mindfulness and self-compassion every day.
Thank you to all of our presenters for sharing your experiences and recommendations with us. And we hope you've learned some tips to better take care of your mind and body. On behalf of the Prairie Central team, thank you for taking part in Wear Red Canada. Now let's hear from our friends in Ontario and Quebec for our next segment. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
From Ontario to Quebec, we welcome you to our Wear Red Canada session. Du Québec à l'Ontario, nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue à notre session Tout le monde en rouge. I'm Lauriane, and I'm a clinical trainee in adult cardiology at the University of Montreal.
Hi, I'm Adriana. I'm a patient advocate and educator from Ottawa. We would like to begin by acknowledging the Anishinaabe Nation, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and acknowledge the unceded Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee territories where we live and work.
I'm Cindy, a patient advocate and SCAD survivor from just outside Peterborough, Ontario. Our regional theme is getting moving, whatever your abilities.
And I'm Kiara, clinical trainee at Queen's University School of Medicine. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome. We hope that this video will provide you more information on the benefits and recommendations of physical activity for cardiovascular health, and some tips to increase your motivation. This video is done in conjunction with the Women's Healthy Heart Initiative in Montreal, Quebec. Engaging in physical activity helps to manage and decrease the symptoms related to many conditions, one being cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease has many leading risk factors, including diabetes, smoking, dyslipidemia, hypertension, obesity, and sedentary lifestyle. Being physically active helps the prevention and removal of these risk factors, as well as the reduction of new cardiac incidents. Physical activity does so by decreasing high blood pressure and reducing overall body fat. Being physically active also reduces blood glucose, which prevents the risk of developing diabetes and the progression of the disease. Physical activity also reduces pain. This is through the gain of muscle mass, which contributes to greater resistance to injury to ligaments and bones. Decreasing the amount of body fat and increasing muscle mass will also help maintain independence and increase the ability to do activities of daily living. Exercising regularly also helps with mental health, which is an important point often forgotten. Research shows that being physically active regulates specific hormones like cortisol to decrease anxiety, stress, and mood swings. It also helps people feel more energized. As we can see, we often underestimate how exercising, even minimally, has a great impact on our mental and physical health. So, how much exercise should we do? The World Health Organization recommends doing a minimum of about 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous aerobic exercise per week. Exercising at a moderate intensity means that you can carry on a conversation, whereas vigorous intensity is described as rapid breathing and a significant increase in heart rate. Resistance or muscular training is a form of exercise where you use your body weight or free weights to cause resistance on a muscle, like squats or wall push-ups. It's recommended to do a minimum of about 2 days of resistance training per week. The duration of the session can vary, but 30 minutes is an ideal start time. This type of exercise will help to prevent injury, increase muscle strength, and increase the number of calories burnt at rest. Stretching or mobility exercises are proven to help improve performance during exercise sessions. They help to decrease soreness, increase our muscle recovery, and prevent injuries. So how do we stay motivated? It's very important to set a SMART goal, and this can be done by setting a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timed goal. An example of this can be to go on a walk for 20 minutes 5 times a week for 2 weeks. This way, after the 2 weeks, you can reassess your goal and see if you can progress it or change it. Another helpful tip is to add your exercise sessions into your schedule or calendar. Look at it as a task that you must get done that day, and with time, it will become a habit. Preparing your exercise clothing and shoes somewhere visible can also be a way to motivate you to exercise. It's also important to incorporate fun and enjoyable activities in your exercise routine. For example, having an exercise buddy who joins you on your walks. It could be playing your favorite music while you are doing resistance training, or watching a show, talking on the phone while on the treadmill, or following a dance video online. Most importantly, start small and do not put too much pressure on yourself from the beginning. It's important to give yourself some time to adjust to your new exercise schedule and start with small amounts of time and slowly increase it.
Thank you, Malika and Noor, for your presentation about the benefits of physical activity for cardiovascular health as primary prevention. Now, let's hear from Dr. Christine Pacheco, cardiologist at the Hôpital Pierre-Boucher and Centre Hospitalier de l'Université de Montréal, Dr. Viviane, cardiologist, and Amélie Briard, kinesiologist at the Centre Hospitalier de l'Université de Montréal, who will talk about the importance of physical activity as secondary prevention.
Bonjour. La maladie cardiovasculaire est devenue la cause numéro 1 de mortalité au Canada chez les 45 ans et plus, devançant ainsi les cancers du poumon et du sein. Relativement épargnées jusqu'à la ménopause, les femmes, après 70 ans, présentent en effet la même prévalence de coronaropathie que les hommes. On estime qu'environ 2,4 millions de Canadiens âgés de 20 ans et plus, dont 50% sont des femmes, vivent avec une maladie coronarienne. L'exercice physique est une importante pierre angulaire de la prévention de la maladie cardiaque. Au fil du temps, plusieurs études ont démontré que la réadaptation cardiaque suite à un événement cardiaque, nommé prévention secondaire, contribue à une importante diminution de la mortalité et de la morbidité. J'ai le plaisir aujourd'hui de m'entretenir avec Dr. Lee, cardiologue au Centre hospitalier de l'Université de Montréal et directrice du Centre de cardiologie préventive. Merci beaucoup d'être avec nous aujourd'hui, Dr. Lee. Pour commencer, quels sont les principaux avantages de l'exercice physique?
Alors, il y a plusieurs avantages à faire régulièrement des efforts physiques. D'abord, il permet d'améliorer à long terme les capacités physiques. Par exemple, ça permet de marcher plus vite, plus loin et avec plus de dénivelé avant d'être fatigué ou d'être essoufflé. Le corps, il finit par s'adapter. Puis en plus, la pratique régulière d'activité physique améliore la qualité de vie puis la capacité fonctionnelle. Lorsque la capacité fonctionnelle et physique s'améliore, la motivation, qui est un élément essentiel à l'adoption d'un mode de vie sain et actif, s'accroît aussi avec le temps. Par ailleurs, en favorisant la libération d'endorphines, l'activité physique est aussi un traitement naturel anti-stress par excellence. Sachant qu'un événement coronarien peut accentuer le risque de développer un trouble anxieux, bouger fait donc partie intégrante des actions à mettre en place le plus tôt possible après un tel événement.
Merci. Souvent, les gens sont hésitants et inquiets de reprendre l'exercice suite à un infarctus. Comment est-ce qu'on peut les rassurer, Dr. Lee?
Bien, c'est pas étonnant de voir que les programmes de réhabilitation cardiaque sont fortement recommandés par les experts mondiaux après un événement cardiaque. Le but de ces programmes, c'est d'unir une équipe multidisciplinaire composée de cardiologues, de kinésiologues, de nutritionnistes, puis de psychologues. Et toute cette équipe a travaillé de pair avec les patients pour les guider vers un meilleur contrôle des facteurs de risque. Il aide aussi ces patients-là vers une plus grande autonomie fonctionnelle et vers une diminution des craintes. Au CHUM, par exemple, ce programme est offert gratuitement pour tout patient avec une référence médicale. Tout patient qui aurait eu un événement coronarien récent.
Est-il vrai que les femmes participent moins souvent à un programme de réadaptation que les hommes?
Effectivement, les femmes y sont référées en moins grand nombre. Elles sont aussi moins nombreuses à s'y inscrire et à adhérer à long terme. Adopter un mode de vie actif chez la femme semble donc être un défi plus grand que chez les hommes. Les obstacles à la réadaptation sont multiples. Puis elles peuvent être d'ordre rhumatologique, psychologique, familial ou culturel. La bonne nouvelle est que bouger ne se définit pas seulement par la pratique d'un sport. Bouger signifie simplement mettre son corps en mouvement. Peu de gens savent en fait que marcher de 6 000 à 10 000 pas par jour contribue à diminuer le risque de mortalité cardiovasculaire. On peut donc cumuler des pas très facilement. On peut stationner plus loin de la porte d'entrée, on peut utiliser l'escalier au lieu de prendre l'ascenseur ou tout simplement, on peut utiliser les transports en commun pour aller travailler plutôt que de prendre son auto.
Donc, chaque pas compte réellement dans une journée. J'ai maintenant le plaisir d'accueillir Amélie Briard, kinésiologue en réadaptation cardiaque, pour partager quelques conseils avec nous concernant l'intensité des activités physiques pour les patients qui ont déjà eu un problème cardiaque. Bonjour
Oui,
Amélie.
merci. Bonjour. Alors, en effet, lorsqu'il y a présence d'une maladie coronarienne, il est important de respecter certaines balises pour une pratique saine et sécuritaire de l'activité. Tout d'abord, il faut débuter lentement avec une intensité légère et ça permet de se préparer physiquement et mentalement à ce qui va suivre. Donc, lors des premières minutes, on doit être apte à parler sans réelle difficulté. Et le retour au calme est tout aussi important et doit être similaire à l'échauffement. Le cœur de la séance, quant à lui, est différent puisque l'intensité doit être vigoureuse. La respiration et le rythme cardiaque s'accélèrent. Vous devez être apte à dire quelques mots, mais sans plus. L'intensité de l'effort ne doit pas nuire à notre bien-être, donc nul besoin d'être en sueur ou à bout de souffle pour améliorer sa santé cardiovasculaire. L'expression confortablement essoufflé est le terme idéal. Marcher, ça demeure le type d'exercice par excellence, de par sa simplicité. C'est une activité très bénéfique pour améliorer sa santé cardiovasculaire. Évidemment qu'avec plus d'expérience, il est possible d'élargir nos possibilités vers une multitude d'activités, comme pour tous les goûts, comme par exemple le vélo, la danse, le randonnée pédestre, le jogging, le patin. Et puisque le plaisir, c'est la clé pour une mobilisation permanente, il suffit d'explorer pour trouver vraiment ce qui nous convient.
Merci beaucoup et n'hésitez pas à consulter notre site web pour plus de renseignements.
Thank you for Dr. Pacheco, Dr. Lee, and Amelie for that wonderful presentation. Now, let's hear from Robin Pohl, cardiac rehab exercise therapist with the Halton Healthcare at the Milton District Hospital. Robin is also a certified chair exercise instructor and will now do a short demo. So get your chairs and your water bottles ready.
So remember, you always want to start with a warm-up. Here we go. Heels, toes, heels, toes. Steps forward, steps back. Let's go to the side. Fantastic. Looking good. All right. Let's go. All right. So we're increasing the intensity. Reaching forward. Looking good. Let's have a kick. Woohoo! Looking good. Little stomps. Roll the shoulders back. Roll them forward. Nice. Step it back and push. All right. Good. Little stomps. And let's go to the side. At the arms. Perfect. Make it bigger. Good workout. You can add resistance to your routine. You want to do that every other day. You got to give your muscles a chance to rebuild. You can use light weights. Let's do the biceps with the weights. Lifting up, lifting down. Up and down. Remember to breathe. I want to do about 10 repetitions. Looking good up there. See an example of resistance using a band. Behind the back, under the arms, I'm going to press forward and pull back. Press forward and pull back. Looking great. You could also use water bottles. I'm going to work the back of the arm with this water bottle. I'll just show you. Start at the head, push back, reach. Nice, I'm working the triceps this time. Just with a plain old water bottle. Perfect. Now you can also use your body weight for resistance. You could try sit to stand. Sitting down, standing up. Simple, right? Maybe not so much for you. Push off from the chair if you need a little extra help. There you go. All right, once you've done your resistance, you got to do a little bit of a cool down. So you can do slow exercises similar to the warm-up, just loosening up, some shoulder rolls back, shoulder rolls forward, and then add your stretching. Here's a leg stretch for you. Heel down, toe up, reach forward, feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg. You should feel a tug. It should not hurt. And another example of a stretch, let's do the back. So reach forward like you're hugging your best friend. Perfect. And you can add a little meditation. Deep breath in. Let's think of ourselves. Hands on the heart. May I be happy. May I be kind. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy.
Thank you, Robin. That was a great demonstration. Now we have Owen from Red Rhino, a dance space for everyone. With a focus on inclusivity, Red Rhino wants every dancer to participate and enjoy the beautiful art therapy that is dance.
I started the company Red Rhino, which is a dance organization with a simple mission, which is to spread dance to everybody as far and wide as possible. I started it during the early stages of the pandemic when myself and my little sister Rosie, who has Down syndrome, were stuck at home. And I just noticed that the physical activity that we were usually getting, which was, out and about, walking and going to the park and playing, had sort of disappeared. And the first thing that we started to really engage with each other on was little dance parties. I would put music on and we would just dance around the kitchen, and it just lit her up. It changed her entire energy throughout the day. Her engagement, her vitality was sort of coming back, and it was like an aha moment. I realized that there must be so many of these gorgeous children just stuck at home with no one to get them on their feet, right? There was enough learning going on in schools. There was enough prioritization as far as education, which is so important too. But that extra piece, that mental invigoration, that stimulation was missing. So I decided I would open up a Zoom room every Sunday for an hour with no real plan. It was just, put the music on, get the kids on their feet and dance around. And it's been going for about 2 years now, and since that first open class that was just my little sister Rosie and her friends dancing alongside me on Zoom, I've taught about 200 dance classes on Zoom to children all over the US, Europe. I've had some clients come on and dance in Sweden. That was amazing. We did not speak the same language, but we danced along together anyway. And it's been incredible. I've seen such a shift in her overall, even as things started to open up and she went back to school. Teachers told me that not only her physical activity, her health, her stimulation overall, her focus had changed and shifted. So I knew I wanted to dig deep and really put a lot of energy into this organization and just try to get as much energy back into these bodies that need physical activity, right? Heart health and all of these components that sort of took a back seat while everybody was prioritizing their health and their, trying to keep each other safe by staying at home and, respecting all the lockdown procedures, but making sure that we, get on our feet whenever possible and just go and get back at it and keep that energy alive. And that's at the core of Red Rhino. It's inclusivity, it's creating space for everybody and anybody that needs it, but it's about health. It's about making sure that at the end of the day we prioritize our mental and physical well-being and keep that heart pumping as long and hard as we can. I will be opening up many, many more facets of this program. I'm hoping to start live events in Ottawa that gather dancers of all shapes and sizes into one room and just sweat it out. Because as we're learning, physical activity is at the heart of, no pun intended, the heart of happiness, both mentally and physically.
Thank you, Owen. That was beautiful. Now we're going from dance to running. Erin Poirier wears many hats: athlete, coach, mom, wife, and public health nurse. the need for better female representation in sport, and she gives some great tips for those who want to start running but might be a bit timid.
When someone's starting out, I always have like a few similar pieces of advice that I give them. And the first is like, just start small. Lots of people have this idea that I'm going to sign up for a 5K and I'm going to start to run. So they go outside and they run as fast as they can, as long as that will last. And it doesn't last very long and it feels really bad. So that's not the most ideal way to start running. Like I usually suggest, like, start really small. And lots of people start with a combo of running and walking, and that's okay. And even in your 5K, there's no rule that says that you can't walk some of that 5K event. And that's even true. I say that to my high school athletes sometimes too. So start small. Don't run as fast as you can. You'll save that for later when you're confident in knowing exactly how far I can run and how long it's going to last, because you want it to feel good. We come back and do things that feel good. So if you start small and you feel good while you're doing it, and you get home, you can check a box. Like, I did that. I felt good. And if it was fun and if it felt good, you're more likely to do it again the next day. The other thing that's really tricky, especially right now in 2022, is just so much data, so much social media, so much comparison to everyone else. And sometimes it's best just to like do your own thing and don't worry who's watching you. And you don't need to document all of that for everyone else to pass judgment on or to feel self-conscious about. So if you're learning to run, that's great. You don't have to explain that to anyone else beyond like, I'm learning to run 5K. So you don't need to tell people I'm taking this amount of walk breaks, or I'm running this far, or I can run this fast. Like, just feel good about it. And if your comparison and sharing doesn't help you feel good about it, then don't do it. Don't share it. I have lots of people who will say, like, I want to run, but like not like you, I can't run fast like you. So they think that like somehow that makes them like a different kind of runner. And I would say it doesn't. Like if there's a 5K and there's 500 people there, like sure, there's a male winner and a female winner, but we've all run the same distance. We're all runners out there. And even if you've walked some of that 5K, doesn't make you any less of a runner as the person who's actually winning the race. So you sign up, call yourself a runner, start small, feel good about it, have fun.
Now to finish things off, let's hear from Andrea Sabourin about adaptive sports and the importance of moving.
Well, I have cerebral palsy, hemiplegia on the left side, so that side is definitely weaker than the right. And I also have Charcot-Marie-Tooth, which is a subset to muscular dystrophy. So that affects the nerves and the nerve endings, and it does atrophy the muscles. Definitely limits me in what I can do sport-wise. And for me, like if I think about physical activity, I really have to think about how my body's going to react. So for me, physical activity was very important because I just have to keep active with the disabilities I have. And I also want to keep, my heart health essentially because of my family history. And it all started with the adaptive skiing and just being in the Paralympic side of sports. It all started when I was 13. My brother and I were watching TVO and we saw a clip of sledge hockey with Marc Dorion, who was playing sledge hockey, and that's how, and we found a club in the city, and then we joined that. And then through that, it's because it's such a small community, you kind of get connected with people around. La représentation, c'est tellement important parce que ça permet à plus de gens à participer. C'est important pour nous autres de montrer aux gens qu'on est là. Comme justement, si je parle un peu du sledge hockey, si j'aurais pas regardé un show sur TVO, qui est la version anglophone de TFO, je pense pas que j'aurais jamais rentré dans les sports paralympiques. Ça, c'est juste à donner que c'était, puis je m'en rappelle parce que j'en discute encore, mais c'était comme un clip de comme 10 secondes, même pas. C'était pendant les annonces, ils sont allés parler des personnes de l'équipe canadienne. What motivates me is just, I love the adrenaline rush a bit. That might play a role in that. But it's just knowing the nature of like my disabilities, and just I have to find a way to always keep myself going. Because if I can just say, like, during the pandemic, it has done a lot of damage. I know I'm not the only one, and I can speak about, like, I know from our community, it's very difficult for us to stay active in the times that we did. So I think it's just that, try and just, just go for it, really.
Thank you, Amy and Andriane, and to all of our presenters for sharing your experiences and talking about the importance of physical movement and how it relates to our heart health. I can't wait to get moving myself. Merci à Amy et à Andriane, de même qu'à tous nos présentateurs, d'avoir partagé leur expérience et surtout d'avoir souligné l'importance de l'activité physique et comment l'activité physique peut améliorer notre santé cardiovasculaire. J'ai déjà hâte de bouger.
On behalf of Ontario and Quebec, thank you for taking part in Wear Red Canada. Do you smell something cooking? Let's head east now to the Atlantic provinces, where they will serve up some tips on healthy and affordable eating.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Beaucoup.
Bye-bye.
From the Atlantic provinces, bonjour, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Dr. Sharon Mulvey, and I'm a cardiologist and the co-director of the Women's Heart Health Clinic in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, with whom we strive for respectful partnerships as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation. We thank them for their strength and resilience in protecting these beautiful lands and aspire to uphold our collective responsibilities according to their example. At the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance, our Atlantic Canada Wear Red Canada Planning Committee has been busy working to bring you this exciting program. I am joined by several of our members who will introduce themselves and tell you about just what we have in store for you. Jan.
Bonjour et bienvenue au webinaire national. My name is Jan Coburn, and I'm a patient advocate, and I'm from Northwest New Brunswick. As part of this year's Wear Red Canada national message, to take care of others, you need to first take care of yourself. Start the conversation with the women in your life. Pour prendre soin des autres, il faut d'abord prendre soin de soi-même. Commencez la conversation avec les femmes de votre vie. Our theme is focused on the Heart Healthy Sunday Family Dinner.
Hi, my name is Peggy Hewlin, and I'm a nurse at the Cardiac Rehab Program, Hearts and Health in Motion, here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we will do a heart healthy grocery tour with Angela Dufour, Olympic performance dietitian, followed by Canadian Master Chef Andy Hay of East Coast Kitchens. Andy will share with us some tips and tricks on how to prepare an affordable and tasty heart healthy dinner.
Hi, my name is Dr. Priya Kwelpillai, and I'm training to be a cardiologist at Dalhousie University here in Halifax. I'm really interested in women's heart health. Please ask questions in the chat box below, and throughout the program, we will do our best to answer them. So without further ado, let's begin.
Hey Canada, I'm Angela Dufour, lead performance dietitian with the Canadian Olympic Committee. I'm so excited that you're going to be joining me today as we navigate the grocery store. We're going to shop for some heart-healthy ingredients to make a special East Coast flair burrito bowl with Chef Andy from East Coast Kitchen. We'll also find some ingredients that we can swap, making our recipes more heart-healthy and family-friendly. So gather the family on February 13th because it's National Wear Red Day, in support and to raise awareness of all the women in our lives and supporting heart health. Okay, Canada, let's go. So one of the leading causes of death worldwide for women is heart disease. There's lots of things we can do to help prevent that. Managing stress, obviously physical activity and certain foods that help us improve that physical activity, and it starts right here in the grocery store. So shopping for day-old produce or what's in season are some great tips on how to make your penny go a little bit further in the produce department. One of my top picks, go for red. It has a powerful antioxidant called lycopene, which gives it its red color, or pink. So start to try to include those in your daily diet. Throw them into soups, stews, burrito bowls, which I know Chef Andy is going to make for us after this. One of my other top picks, a great way to substitute for some creams or butter in recipes, and I know Chef Andy is going to use this in our burrito bowl. Avocados adds a nice creamy texture, flavor, and a great way to cut down on the saturated fats. Excellent for heart disease. Did you know a trick to adding flavor without adding sodium is experimenting with different herbs and spices? So go for bright colored fruits and vegetables. Yellow, red, green, all have powerful antioxidants that help fight against heart disease. And my heart matters to me because I'm a mom and I have a mom. I want to have my best health so I can look forward to many years with them. So another great cost-saving tip, when produce isn't in season, go for frozen. It locks in all the nutrients so you're still getting all the great benefits. So another great pick at the grocery store that has great disease-fighting properties are whole grains. Not necessarily whole wheat, but go for whole grains, full of antioxidants and lots of vitamins and minerals. So protein is one of the most important nutrients for all Canadians, especially if you're trying to get more active. Quick budget tip, go for whole chickens, whole roast. It'll help reduce your cost, but also sodium in some prepared items. You can even try canned beans, lentils as another real budget-friendly option to help boost up your protein. And did you know, if you're using canned beans, you can actually get rid of 40% of the sodium just by rinsing them. So another great protein option and an East Coast favorite, fresh fish. Go for fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, all great examples of omega-3s, which are a heart-healthy fat. And don't forget, canned fish are all great examples as well. So another quick way to boost your protein easily in any recipe is canned. Save on your dollar, but also watch for the packed in water. That will help reduce the sodium. So carbohydrates, whole grains specifically, are such an important part of any active diet. Go for things like whole grain rice and pastas that make easy additions to family-friendly recipes, such as our burrito bowls that I know Chef Andy is going to do for us. So dairy can be a part of a healthy diet. Plain, low-fat yogurt makes a great substitution for sour cream, mayonnaise in any recipe. And I know Chef Andy's gonna use this in our topping for our burrito bowl. So for other dairy products like cottage cheese, ricotta cheese, which make great protein substitutions in cream sauces and recipes, go for 0 to 2%. That's going to reduce the amount of saturated fats in the product and be a heart healthier option. Replacing bad fats like saturated and trans with healthier fats or mono and polyunsaturated fats are good for your heart health. Use some of these oils instead of solid fats like butter, shortening, lard, and hardstick margarines, and other tropical oils like palm and coconut, which can have a lot of saturated fat. So choose things like canola, corn, olive, safflower, soybean, and sunflower. So I know we've been home more lately, maybe eating more family meals around the table, which is great, but you might find it challenging to meet all your family's specific tastes. I hope we've showed you that heart-healthy eating can taste good, it can be easy, and I know Chef Andy is going to show you just how to do that by incorporating different substitutes in one recipe to meet all those needs.
Thank you, Angela. Those were great heart-healthy eating tips to put into practice when we're in the grocery store. My name is Wanda Firth, and I'm the program lead of the Hearts and Health and Motion program here at the Central Zone at Nova Scotia Health. Now, let's hear from Chef Andy.
How are we doing, folks? Come on in, and welcome to my kitchen. The East Coast Kitchen is an absolute honor to have everyone here on Wear Red Day. It is a true honor. I am so fortunate to be surrounded by amazing women in my life, and it's so important to me that they remain healthy for a long time. So today, I'm gonna be showing you a recipe that is a staple in our house. I love this recipe. The reason I love it is not only is it healthy, yes, of course it is, that's very important, but also tastes delicious, which to me means a lot. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk through how to make a customizable family dinner that I guarantee people around the table at your house will love. So we're gonna be doing a customizable chicken burrito bowl. It is delicious, it's easy, and it's healthy. I'm following all the tips that I just saw Angela mention as well from the grocery store. So I incorporated that when I went to the grocery store to pick up ingredients for this recipe. So I'm really excited about this. So before we start getting to cooking, let's just talk flavor, because we know we've got the health stuff on lock after listening to Angela. I just want to talk about flavor and how we can develop more delicious foods, which I believe makes it easier to eat healthier. It really, to me, comes down to a few things. Salt, fat, acid are such important ways to build flavor. That's how we build flavor. That's how flavors are recognized on our tongue. You want to make sure that you're seasoning your food correctly. I use kosher salt. Don't overdo it here, but always add just a little bit, because that is what's helping your tongue recognize flavor. Salt is absolutely key to what you're cooking. From there is this fat. You always want to make sure that you have a lovely fat element, and there's loads of healthy fats that I use in my cooking that just elevates whatever that you're cooking. A big one for me is olive oil. It's a very nutrient-dense, heart-healthy fat that I love, but you could use Greek yogurt, you could use avocados. These are great fat sources that, again, round your tongue and create flavor, and it interplays with the flavor of acid and salt as well. So fat is crucial. The next piece is acid. It's an absolutely important part of creating flavor. It's kind of that puckering feeling that you get on the side parts of your tongue that make you want to eat more. So for me, what we're going to be using in this dish, and what I use so much in my kitchen, is citrus as acid. I always have fresh citrus, whether it's lime, lemon, grapefruit, oranges. I'm using the juice, but what I also will do, and I encourage you to do as well, is use the zest on the outside. There's so much flavor in there as well. Other alternatives for citrus or for acid could be a little bit of vinegar. It's amazing to start feeling and seeing the difference in flavor when you start playing with that salt, fat, acid, heat. Other ways to add more flavor, and I know Angela mentioned it, is adding fresh herbs. I love fresh herbs. I traveled through Southeast Asia about 10 years ago, and I got woken up to the power and deliciousness of herbs. So we're gonna be using cilantro today. We're gonna use basil, parsley, whatever you can get access to. In the summertime, I have full garden beds filled with herbs, and it can transform anything that you're cooking. So those are just a couple tips to keep in mind as we dive into making this very easy weeknight customizable burrito bowl. So let's do this. So what we're gonna do is, I love making dishes on my Instagram page, Andy's East Coast Kitchen, that are all about how do I get something delicious on the table quickly for my family at the end of the day. So that's exactly what this is gonna be. So the ingredients that we're gonna be using off the top is, I've got some skinless, boneless chicken breasts that we've got set right there. So get that out in front of you. I'm gonna be cooking again with eyes, with my eyes. I wanna see lots of color in this dish. So we're gonna be using some of these beautiful peppers that I have in front of me. We've got a little bit of red onion, a little bit of garlic, and then we'll add in those spices. So let's just get going here on the prep. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna slice up the chicken breast into bite-sized cubes. Get that all sliced up and toss it directly into a bowl. Now what I'm gonna do is dice up these peppers. I'm gonna take out the seeds on the inside, give them a chop, toss them in with the chicken. Last step, I'm gonna dice up some red onion, toss that in. I'm gonna season with a little bit of salt, some olive oil, a little bit of lime juice, some lime zest, and I'm gonna add in some cumin. I love cumin as a flavor. It's a big, bold spice that I love. I'm gonna add in a little bit of chili powder and a touch of smoked paprika. So it's giving us that south of the border style Tex-Mex flavor that we all know and love in burritos. So using my hands, we're gonna mix this all together. I'm gonna get it onto the sheet tray, and I'm gonna place it into the oven that's preheated to 400 degrees. I'm gonna let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes or until the chicken is fully cooked through. So let's get that out of the way, and then we'll clean up and we'll kick on with the next part of the recipe. Okay, chicken is in the oven. We are rocking and rolling. I love this dish. The smells are starting to come already. It's all very exciting. Okay, so next up, what I'm gonna do is I've got some brown wild rice that I'm gonna be using here. I'd say just follow the package instructions. Get the rice cooking. It generally takes around 30 to 40 minutes, so factor that in. Get that set, and it'll be ready at the perfect time when the chicken is done as well. Okay, so we get the rice essentially done. We've got the chicken essentially done. Let's start building more flavors and colors here. So what I have right in front of me, I've got some canned black beans. Nothing wrong with canned beans at all. What I would suggest is when you do open the can, make sure you rinse off the liquid. It will remove a lot of the sodium. So I've got that ready. I love having these individual bowls so people can build their own bowls. I do this with my kids. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it gets them involved in building the flavors that they love in their bowl. I also have here some canned corn. You can use canned corn. Frozen corn is absolutely amazing as well. If it is canned, just make sure you rinse it off. So we've got those set and off to the side. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is actually build two different things that are really, really flavor bombs that you're gonna love. We're gonna do a fresh salsa or a pico de gallo. Very, very simple to make. I've got these beautiful fresh tomatoes. Here's a tip when you're buying tomatoes. Make sure you're buying ones, and I just took it off, that have the vine still on them. That makes them last longer. You get that aroma of the vine themselves, but it just makes a better tomato to have at your house. So I've got 3 tomatoes here. I've got the other half of that red onion that I'm gonna dice up, and I've got a little bit of jalapeno, and I've got this beautiful cilantro set off to the side. So that's really all this needs. That's what this dish is, and possibly a little bit of lime juice, forgot that. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to dice up the tomatoes. If you really wanna get specific, you can take out the watery seeds on the inside. It'll result in less liquid in the actual pico de gallo. So I'm gonna dice up the tomatoes. I'm gonna dice up the onions really, really nice and fine, and then I'm gonna cut the jalapeno. I'm gonna cut off the tip of it, I'm gonna cut it down the middle, and I'm gonna take out all the seeds. That's where the spice lives. The flesh itself isn't too spicy, but if you're very sensitive to spice, just omit, no biggie at all. So I'm gonna dice up the jalapeno. I'll probably add in a clove of garlic, probably a 1/4 cup of diced up cilantro, then the juice of a lime. Mix that all together, add in a little bit of salt to bring all the flavors together. I am telling you, it is fresh, it is citrusy, it is just so lovely. It'll combine so well with all the other flavors. So I highly, highly suggest you make this fresh salsa. Okay, salsa's out of the way. Let's work on the last piece here, a crema. So most times I've seen crema, they would all use like a sour cream. Sour cream can have a lot of saturated fat in it. So I'm gonna be using just plain Greek yogurt. More heart healthy way to do this. If you have avocado, you could use avocado as well. So all I'm gonna do here is just really season aggressively this plain Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna add a touch of salt, a little bit of olive oil, but the juice of a half a lime, zest of a half a lime, and then I'm gonna add in probably a tablespoon of your favorite hot sauce. Try to get something with low sodium, but this will just add a nice color, a little piquant, a little spice to it, and it's just really, really lovely to add onto your burrito bowl. So we're in good shape now. We've got the crema, we've got the pico de gallo, we've got our rice ready, we have some black beans, some corn. Use whatever you have in the fridge. If you want to add in some avocado, go for it. I've got some of these amazing pickled red onions. If you want to find the recipe, check out my website, theeastcoastkitchen.com. These are super fun, add a really, really lovely acidic element to everything. I'll probably chop up some additional herbs, maybe slice up some additional lime wedges, but we are there, folks. This is very exciting. That didn't take that long. A lot of the steps could be done the night before or in advance to make your evenings that much easier. I think we're there. I'm gonna wait for the chicken to be done, for the rice to be done, and then we can assemble. Okay, so the chicken is done, our rice is done, beans are ready, pico de gallo is ready, our crema is done. All we have left to do, folks, is build a bowl. Again, whatever you have in your fridge, haul it out. This is a great time to use up those left behinds. This smells delicious. It looks delicious. I love the brightness, the colors. It's gonna be fantastic. Let's plate up. I love this kind of meal. It's colorful, it's flavorful, it smells amazing. You just know that tastes good. It's bright, it's fresh. I'm really excited for this. Let's dig in and have a bite here. To me, this is the kind of meal you could eat every single day. And the fact that it's actually healthy for me, healthy for my heart, healthy for my wife, mother's, daughter's hearts, that's an added bonus. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Andy Hay. It's been a lovely, lovely time having you in my kitchen. Until next time, see you later.
Wow, thank you, Chef Andy. That was an awesome looking burrito bowl and pretty easy to make. It looks so delicious and I can't wait to try it.
Merci. Thank you to Angela and Chef Andy for sharing their experiences and recommendations on preparing a heart-healthy dinner, from grocery store to table. J'espère que vous avez acquis de nouvelles idées pour un régime alimentaire sain pour le cœur. Bon appétit!
Thank you. We hope that you've enjoyed the presentation. I'd like to thank our entire Wear Red Canada Day Atlantic team and the advocacy working group at the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance. Please note that we've answered your questions and provided relevant links throughout the presentation via the chat. The presentation will be posted on the wearredcanada.ca website later today, along with the rest of the program. Please share these presentations, links, and resources with your friends, family, and community. So on behalf of the Atlantic provinces, thank you for watching. Stay safe, soyez bien, and enjoy heart-healthy eating. Au revoir. Happy Wear Red Day, Canada, everyone.
Bye,
Take care.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
So thank you all for your time, energy, and passion to make this session so uplifting and motivating. Thank you to our presenters for taking the time today to share your knowledge with us and to everyone who attended the sessions. Before we end the session, we'd like to remind you to please complete the post-webinar evaluation that will appear in your browser window. And don't forget, you can participate today by wearing red, taking pictures and sharing them on social media, using the hashtag HerHeartMatters. We encourage people to share key messages on women's heart health with their peers, family, and friends. Participate in our virtual 5K event. More details can be found at wearredcanada.ca.
We hope that going forward that you will all be mindful, curious, and proactive in the management of your heart and wellness. Because remember, to take care of others, you need to first take care of yourself. Have a great Wear Red Canada Day. Thank you, everyone.